Visa deploys Paymaster contracts on Ethereum testnet for gasless transactions. Quant is rumored to be working with Samsung on their upcoming digital currency that would allow offline payments. Cardano has just launched its very own Layer 2 solution after the main network hit 94% max capacity, and the Crypto.com Visa program has once again seen a change in its rewards. We are going to break down all of this for you guys and more in today's daily market update. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Everything Crypto Show. Now, hopping right into today's content, we are going to start off with the market overview, and we can see that over the past week, it has been relatively boring. I mean, Bitcoin up about 0.9%, Ether up about 1.6%, and the biggest mover here has in fact been XRP up about 9.2% on the week. And this has to do a lot more with Ripple specific news. There's been some really positive news lately regarding their lawsuit with the SEC, as well as their continued expansion into other areas around the world like Hong Kong. But for the most part, the crypto market has been relatively flat. However, I do actually believe that both Bitcoin and Ethereum are due for a move to the downside, and that they most likely will take the majority of the crypto market with them. So we're going to talk about that in just a couple of minutes when we head over to the charts. We have a render here up 38.7% on the week, as this is basically based off a rumor that they are going to be working with Apple on their new VR headset. We have Kava here up 32.7% on the week, up 60% on the month. And honestly, I don't know much about Kava, but I do know that it has recently made its way into the top 10 blockchains in terms of TVL. Now, taking a look here at the charts, I do believe once again that both Bitcoin and Ether are set for a move to the downside. So first of all, taking a look at Bitcoin, we can see here that the bull market support band currently sits at about 25.5K, and there is a very strong area of support for Bitcoin sitting at 25,000. Now, we can see that 25K acted as support here in May of 2022. It acted as resistance here in August of 2022, and getting rejected here actually did lead to the capitulation all the way down to 15.5K in November of last year. Then once again in February of this year, Bitcoin actually got rejected at 25,000, came back down to 20,000 and retested the bull market support band as well as its 2018 all-time high, and then it finally broke above 25K before topping out at $31,000. Now, it does look to me like just as Bitcoin did retest the bull market support band here back in March, that it does want to come in for another retest back here, and I think this would be very good for Bitcoin in an accumulation phase to actually see it consistently retesting the bull market support band and validating it as a buying zone. Now, taking a look at Ethereum here, I do see a very similar thing on the charts, and that is that Ether looks like it does want to come back down and retest $1,700. So looking all the way back to 2021, we can see here that in May, June, and July, 1700 acted as a very strong area of support. And then we can see here that once again in October of last year, Ether got rejected at the $1,700 area, coinciding with a rejection at the bull market support band. Now, we do have the bull market support band peeling up and sitting at about 1730, and I do believe that Ether is going to go ahead and retest this level before potentially making another test of that $2,000 area. And that's a very big area for Ether that we actually do have to break above. You can see here that as Bitcoin topped out at 31K, Ether actually topped out at about 2.1K here, getting rejected at 2 weekly candles. So that's what I'm looking for when it does come to the charts. And now hopping quickly into the Bitcoin and Ethereum news. And the first one here, the big one, is that Bitcoin Miami 2023 has just wrapped up. And one thing that really did catch my eye is the fact that Shell, one of the world's largest oil and gas companies, attended the Bitcoin conference. And taking a look here at the thing, you can see it says, what can Shell immersion cooling technology do for you? Improved compute density, greater machine reliability, increased power efficiency, and lower water intensity. So it looks to me here like Shell is looking to actually get into providing Bitcoin mining services, and they're not the first they're not the first oil giant to move into this new tech industry. We also saw here that Exxon back in March of last year announced they were mining Bitcoin in a part of their efforts to slash emissions. So how exactly were they doing this? Well, Exxon is diverting natural gas that would otherwise be burned off into generators, which convert the gas into electricity used to power shipping containers full of thousands of Bitcoin miners. So we see here traditional oil giants are now moving into mining Bitcoin. In my opinion, one of the most valuable commodities in the world. And we can see they clearly do recognize Bitcoin's potential here to really transform their business. So very bullish there for Bitcoin to see these traditional giants getting into Bitcoin mining. And now we're going to hop into some Ethereum news. Speaking of traditional giants, as Visa has deployed their Paymaster contracts on Ethereum testnet for gasless transactions. So global payments giant Visa has deployed experimental smart contracts on Ethereum's Goerli testnet to pilot gasless transactions through account abstraction. Two sets of smart contracts dubbed Paymaster are aiming to simplify user interaction with the Ethereum network by performing complex tasks and managing transaction costs on behalf of other accounts. So effectively looking for a way that you can have a Visa powered by the Ethereum blockchain, transacting via the Ethereum blockchain, and having the Paymaster smart contract basically dealing with all the complex things behind the scenes. And this is, in my opinion, the way forward for blockchain to really see that mainstream adoption. So Visa is seeking to leverage the ERC 4337 standard to implement an intermediary currency conversion service. The first version of the Paymaster contract explores whether users can pay transaction fees with alternative tokens like dollar-pegged stablecoins or obviously CBDCs. So the contract can collect any ERC20 token from users and convert them into Ether based on the current rate to pay for gas fees, thus removing the need to actually have Ether in your wallet to pay for these transaction fees. So the payment giant believes the Paymaster concept can incentivize adoption by allowing users to only fund the gas costs at the time of the transaction without any pre-funding requirements to optimize their cash flow management. Now, the second Paymaster contract seeks to eliminate the need for users to cover gas fees by themselves, just like in Web2 peer-to-peer transactions, by using a solution preferred by account abstraction, which allows third-party providers such as fintech wallet providers to handle the costs. So very similar to how, if you send money via PayPal, they take a fee. This is exactly what the second Paymaster contract is seeking to do here with Ethereum. And I find this very interesting. We know that Visa has been looking to adopt Ethereum for their payment solution for quite a while now with multiple tests. And I do think the gas fees have really been one of the big things holding them back. However, people often like to point to Bitcoin and Ethereum and point out the transactions per second, say that they're not fast, they're not cheap. And this is true. But the first thing to remember is that there are multiple layer 2 solutions for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And the second thing to remember is that these big institutions at the end of the day, they are going to go with the biggest blockchains in terms of total value locked with the cryptocurrencies that do have the most money in them, as that just makes the most sense from a business perspective. And we can see here clearly that Bitcoin and Ether dominate the total crypto market cap, which sits at just over 1 trillion, and we have Bitcoin making up 527 billion of that and Ether making up another 222 billion of that. So at the end of the day, I do think that we are very early to crypto as a whole, and that Bitcoin and Ether, although they are the largest, they are still set to benefit the most from the mass adoption that will be coming for crypto in the future. Now, speaking of mass adoption, I do want to talk about Quant here real quick. As we can see here, the Digital Pound Foundation tweeted that in collaboration with the Bank of Korea, Samsung is exploring the implementation of offline CBDC technology into its smartphones, and this would allow someone to make a payment even when they do not have internet connection. Now, first of all, I do think it's very interesting and not a coincidence that the Digital Pound Foundation is in fact the one that tweeted this. We know the Digital Pound Foundation here is basically working on the digital brick coin. We can see that Quant is sitting as a member community here, as well as Gilbert Verdian as one of the board directors, who is the Quant CEO. Now, additionally, we can see here that Gilbert Verdian in Quant Network's Telegram chat has spoken about Samsung on multiple occasions. So he says here in the first one, that is a Samsung SDS project we discussed in early 2019. The approach Samsung prototyped was to use DLT to remove the complexity of holding certificates. We have another image here of Gilbert Verdian once again saying, "We had a good trip to South Korea and met with the Samsung team at their office after they met us in London earlier. Can't say any more than that under NDA." And the final one here is no, unfortunately, only the numerous meetings we had with Samsung SDS in London and South Korea in response to the question, is there any business in Korea? So we can see here that Gilbert Verdian has confirmed they have met with Samsung on multiple occasions. And on top of that, we see that basically Samsung is looking to tap into DLT to remove the complexity of holding certificates, which I would imagine they just mean tokenized assets, and in this case, central bank digital currencies. And that's exactly what the Quant Overledger is. This is distributed ledger technology that basically looks to offer people things like tokenized funds and alternative assets, tokenized deposits, create next generation payment systems, build multi-DLT applications, and connect to multiple enterprise systems. And we can see that the Quant Overledger does facilitate the creation of Quant Smart tokens, where you can develop payment trials, issue stablecoins, and more with smart tokens that are chain agnostic. You can connect your application to blockchains of your choice and build multi-dApps or multi-DLT applications, otherwise known as MDApps. And these effectively are decentralized applications that can run on multiple blockchains. We can see here that Quant Overledger does offer support once again for some of the biggest chains in the business like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Polygon, Polkadot, XDC, and Avalanche. And effectively, Quant Overledger is the piece of technology that not only allows you to build these applications, but actually facilitate them on multiple blockchains. This is a very key pillar for the blockchain, in my opinion. The future is multi-chain. I don't think that there is going to be a one blockchain takes all scenario, and that is what Quant essentially aims to do with their Overledger technology, is be the piece of tech that combines all these blockchains. Now, the Quant token is used for all transactions, for account verification and identity, and therefore the more adoption we do see for Quant Overledger, the more adoption we do see for Quant token itself. And I do actually want to go ahead and just walk you guys over to TradingView, and we're going to take a look at the Quant chart real quick, as there are a couple of interesting things that I am seeing here. It is in fact coming up on a very big area of support, and I am potentially looking at it as a buying opportunity as discussed in yesterday's video. And by the way, if you do want to learn more about Quant, like more in depth, I definitely do recommend you check out yesterday's video as well as other videos on the channel where we do break it down a lot more in depth. But here's the main thing when it comes to Quant, okay? So if we actually take a look at the chart, you're going to notice here that $100 has historically been a very strong area of support, a very big buying opportunity for Quant. And once again, we are back down at that $100 level after landsliding down from 228 the high we put in back in October of last year. So taking a look here on a daily, so you can see just how many times this area has made for a good trading opportunity. For starters here, back in 2021, the first time Quant broke above $100, it actually ran all the way up to $428 for over a 300% rally. And now we can see here that even since November of last year, it went from $100 up to $130. Then again in December of 2022, it bottomed out at $100 and ran all the way up to $160. So a nice 30 and 60% trade there on that $100 area in the past half a year, give or take. And now once again, after making that local top here at about 162, it has really just been following this downtrending channel and is back at $100. So I am keeping a very close eye on this move. I mean, we can see here at the moment that the bull market support band for Quant is actually sitting at about, let me see, where's this level? The bull market support band right now is sitting at about 124. If Quant does break out of this downtrending channel on a very strong area of support, I do think that we could see a very fast run back up to that 125 level, which would make for another clean 25% rally off of this $100 zone. So that's what I'm looking for when it comes to Quant. If you guys have been with the channel, you know it is my favorite altcoin here on the channel, and I have much higher price targets for this project leading into the next bull run. Now, we got to talk about some favorite altcoins here. I know that Cardano is a fan favorite, although I personally am not a very big bull on this project. I think that its market cap relative to its valuation, its market cap relative to its actual blockchain TVL is a bit inflated, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but it definitely is seeing a very good amount of transactions go through. In fact, back on May 8th, it was noted here that Cardano was currently at a 94% load. And what this means is that no Cardano node implements transaction prioritization, meaning that transactions are processed on a first come, first serve basis. So if you were to hit 100% load, your transactions will get put in a queue with everybody else. And obviously, that's a massive concern. I mean, the fact that Cardano might have actually hit max capacity and would not have been able to process transactions any further. And in response to this, Cardano has actually launched their very own Layer 2 solution, Hydra. So by accelerating transaction speeds through high throughput, Hydra aims to lower transaction costs through scaling. Its first upgrade in this regard intends to make Cardano more affordable and quick. Total value locked in the Cardano DeFi ecosystem has been steadily rising over the past several months after slowing down following the wave of exchange bankruptcies last year, and it currently ranks 17th on DeFi Llama with 19 protocols controlling a TVL of 139.67 million. Additionally, the debut of Hydra upgrade occurs at a time when Ethereum is struggling with expensive gas fees, and we did see here on Twitter that a whale recently paid 64 ETH to complete one transfer into a meme coin. So I want to show you guys Cardano here, and the big thing I do want to point out is that if we actually take a look at Cardano, yes, it definitely has been in a very consistent uprise since about January of this year, from 69 mil up to 197 mil. So a very big boom here for Cardano TVL. However, I want to show you guys Cardano now from a valuation perspective. And I mean, this is the thing. This is definitely up for perspective. Some people think blockchains should be valued like this. Some people think they shouldn't. I don't really think that any valuation model is correct at the moment, as crypto is still incredibly new. I think that really the value does come inherently from what people put behind it and how popular the tokens are, how much adoption they're seeing. But what we got here is the market cap to TVL ratio. And effectively what this does is it compares the market cap of the crypto to the total value locked on the platform. So if you know anything about stocks, think of it as like a PE ratio. Basically, what are you paying for that company's earnings? And here it's what are you paying for that token in respect to the total amount of money circulating on the blockchain. So Ether comes in here at a market cap to TVL of 4.58. This means that Ether has about 222 billion market cap and a TVL of 48.62 bill, and that gives you that 4.58 market cap to TVL ratio. Now we can see, taking a look here, that Cardano is the highest on this list in terms of the top 17 anyways, coming in at 65 in market cap to TVL. Now, a lot of people will be quick to point out that Bitcoin is the highest at almost a 3,000 market cap to TVL, but Bitcoin is not valued based on its blockchain, based on its DeFi. Bitcoin is valued because it is a store of value. So when we're taking a look at DeFi applications alone, I do think Cardano is trading relatively expensive compared to all of the other cryptocurrencies above it. However, if it does continue to see that explosive growth, maybe it is deserving of that premium. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not like a bear on Cardano. I just think there are better opportunities elsewhere. But I do know that Cardano is a fan favorite. I do know that the Charles, I don't even know his last name, Charles Hoskins, I believe it is, the CEO of Cardano, the founder. He does have a lot of followers on Twitter. He does make a big impact, and I will be curious to see how this project does develop, and if they can continue to fundamentally improve with layer 2s and more decentralized applications, then yeah, Cardano definitely will maintain that spot as a top 10 cryptocurrency. Now, we're going to wrap things up here talking about the Crypto.com visa changes. I've seen a couple of posts on Twitter about this, and honestly, for the most part, I think they're a little bit unwarranted. I don't think this change is a big deal whatsoever. I saw some people saying, you know, another change, another scam from Crypto.com, changing the visa program once again. And to be honest, guys, I mean, even considering the changes that were made last year, I really think this visa is still very impressive with the cashback it does offer. Additionally, the one thing I always like to point out is that the cashback is offered in CRO and not in Canadian dollars. And this effectively means that, you know, the cashback you're getting is in CRO. So if you think the CRO is going to double in the next couple of years and you have the Royal Indigo and Jade Green, all that 2% cashback you're getting right now, that's actually 4% cashback. All that 3% with the Frosted Rose Gold and Icy White, that is 6%. And all that 5% cashback with the Obsidian Black is 10%. I mean, if you think that CRO coin is going to triple, that 5% is now 15%. And that just extrapolates, right? So that's the first thing I want to point out about the visas, is that I do still think the cashback is very impressive. And I do think the fact that it is in CRO does make it even better. Now, here's the change for the visas. For the Jade Green and up, they did have the airport lounge access, and that is now being replaced with the priority pass, sorry. So effectively what this does is it gives you access to more than 1,300 airport lounges globally, unlimited complimentary visits for Obsidian, Icy White, and Frosted Rose Gold cards, 4 complimentary visits per calendar year for Jade Green and Royal Indigo cards. So effectively swapping out the unlimited airport lounge access here for 4 times a year for Jade Green and Royal Indigo, and unlimited for Obsidian, Icy White, and Frosted Rose Gold. And to be honest, I mean, when it comes down to it, I really saw the airport lounge access as more of like an additional benefit than anything else. It doesn't really have a fundamental impact on the card for me. If you're a frequent traveler, I mean, it might, but when all is said and done, guys, I don't really think that airport lounge access is like a massive bull or bear case for the Crypto.com Visa. I'm kind of just moot on it as a whole, in my opinion. And that's why I wasn't really fazed or bothered by these changes. Now, I will remind you, we spoke about this a couple of weeks back, that the Crypto.com CEO did confirm on Twitter that when the bull market does resume, they are looking to actually go ahead and implement some buffs to the rewards program. And he says plain and simple, right? Like the Visa program and the rewards are sustained by the transaction fees on the platform. And when they were making less revenue in the bear market, they did have to obviously cut the rewards in line with their cut in transaction. And once the transactions resume, as the bull market does take off once again, they will be looking to once again increase the rewards. And I do think that's something that holders of the Visa will have to be comfortable with, is that sometimes the rewards will be better, sometimes they will be worse. But to be honest, I mean, considering that throughout the depths of the bear market, they were still able to keep the cash back at a very good rate, in my opinion, as well as these additional benefits like free Spotify and Netflix for the first 6 months of Royal Indigo and Jade Green, and not permanent anymore, unfortunately. Then you got free Spotify, free Netflix, free Prime, and money off of Expedia here for the Icy White and Obsidian cards. And I think that, you know, if this is as low as the cashback rewards are going to get, and if they can only improve from here, I do still remain very bullish on the Crypto.com Visa product specifically. And I am still bullish on CRO coin itself, as you are required to not only buy CRO, but also hold it to maintain these benefits. So not a big deal in my opinion, but something I did want to cover just in case some of you are traveling soon. And you go to the airport lounge and get blindsided by these changes that are in effect on May 31st. So without further ado, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. You know what to do. If you made it all the way to the end, you are an absolute champion. Let me know in the YouTube comments down below and claim that champion status. I hope you are all having an amazing day, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.